There are moments in the life of the Church when events do not simply appear, they detonate. They force themselves into public consciousness with unsettling force, demanding attention even from those who would prefer to look away. And the story that erupted from the Vatican in this recent moment was exactly such an event, unexpected, symbolic, and laden with consequences that reached into the deepest parts of Catholic identity. It began with a photograph, one of those carefully composed Vatican images that feel too deliberate to be accidental. A moment framed with Polish clarity and unmistakable intention. The photo showed Pope Leo XIV standing warmly beside two men who had introduced themselves as husband and husband. Their names, Alex Capacelatro and Brian D. Stevens. Their appearance, friendly, relaxed, completely at ease in the Apostolic Palace, the very heart of the Catholic Church. The world has seen many images. But this one carried a different kind of weight. The photo traveled with astonishing speed. Within hours, it circled the world. It reached Catholics in every time zone, every parish, every community. And the speed of its spread made it clear, this was not a small moment. It was not private. It was not accidental. This was a message crafted for public consumption. But it was what happened next that triggered the earthquake. Capacelatro posted the image online almost instantly. Alongside the photo, he wrote a message describing how deeply moved he felt standing in the Vatican with his partner, and how Pope Leo XIV welcomed them warmly when informed that they were married. Those words ignited a global reaction. They were read by millions. They were dissected by Catholics, journalists, theologians, and skeptics alike. And in the face of this uproar, the Vatican responded with nothing. No correction. No clarification. No explanation. Silence, heavy, strategic, deafening. For many Catholics, the silence felt louder than any statement. Because silence in matters of faith is rarely neutral. It becomes its own message. But the story does not end with a single photograph. At the same time that Rome was navigating the storm of public reaction, another controversy broke loose in the United States, one involving journalist Gio Benitez. Photos surfaced of him and his same-sex partner participating joyfully in a Catholic sacrament, with the partner serving as godfather. The event was celebrated openly, publicly, and unambiguously. Father James Martin amplified the images, framing them not as controversy but as triumph, as if the boundaries of Catholic moral teaching had shifted. No theological context. No doctrinal explanation. Another cascade of silence. Two separate events. Two different continents. One unmistakably similar message. And the faithful began to ask the question they never thought they would have to ask. What is happening to the Catholic Church? This question gained urgency when Bishop Joseph Strickland voiced his concerns. Surrounded by fellow bishops who seemed determined to ignore the rising confusion, Strickland spoke directly and sorrowfully about the danger of silence. He warned that the Church's teachings were being treated as optional. That public scandals were unfolding without correction. That ambiguity was taking the place of truth. He spoke with the tone of a shepherd who sees danger approaching the flock while others avert their gaze. But instead of receiving support or affirmation from other bishops, he met only cold silence. No applause. No agreement. No reinforcement. Just isolation. That lonely image, one bishop standing in a room full of silent peers, became symbolic of the deeper fracture forming within the Church. Because what unfolded in Rome and what echoed in America were not simply isolated occurrences. They were signs. Gestures. Public acts that carried symbolic meaning far beyond the individuals involved. Catholicism is a faith of signs. Every gesture, from the lifting of a chalice to the laying of hands, carries spiritual meaning. And because the Church teaches not only through words but through visible acts, images like these from the Apostolic Palace are never just photos. They are symbols. Symbols that shape the imagination, influence culture, and communicate theology long before any document is written. This is precisely why the faithful reacted so strongly. The question was not about the people in the photos. The Church teaches compassion for all. The tension arose because the gesture itself contradicted Catholic teaching on marriage and created the appearance of endorsement through optics rather than doctrine. And when optics contradict doctrine, confusion spreads faster than clarity. This confusion deepened as silence became the norm. The Vatican offered no explanation. The clergy avoided the topic. Bishops spoke vaguely or not at all. And into this void of silence stepped interpretations, millions of them, each shaped by emotion, ideology, or fear. Some saw mercy. Some saw scandal. Many saw a church drifting without direction. And drift is dangerous. In the weeks that followed, Catholics around the world felt something shifting beneath their feet, a subtle but unmistakable sense that something inside the Church had changed, not with a document, but with a gesture. And gestures, especially papal gestures, carry immense power. Because in the modern world, a photograph can do what a council cannot. A curated image can eclipse centuries of catechesis. A moment of ambiguity can spread faster than truth. This is the spiritual crisis unfolding in the Church today, not a crisis of doctrine on paper, but a crisis of perception, messaging, and symbolic meaning. For decades, Church teaching has been clear. But gestures now appear to contradict clarity. Public celebrations appear to overshadow moral guidance. Silence appears to replace explanation. And in this environment of ambiguity, many Catholics feel spiritually abandoned, not by Christ, but by shepherds who refuse to speak with clarity, who choose institutional harmony over doctrinal consistency. This is the heart of the crisis.